So, folks, I was on the Lines Transatlantic Call-In show. Yet again, I co-hosted with Alexander, taking calls about trans issues ranging from advice to spicy debate. Check it out.
Next, we're going to take Ashton. Ashton uses he, him pronouns, calling from Michigan, wants to talk about why trans people refer to themselves as trans female. Ashton, you're live on the line with Luxander and Riverboat Jack. How's it going?
Hi, I'm fine.
Howdy.
Awesome. Well, lay it out for us. What was
Uh,
your question or your contention today?
yeah, so I've just been seeing on social media, like primarily on threads, um, like I get a lot of like, positive like trans stuff on there. And I see a lot of people referring to themselves as like trans female or trans male rather than like trans man or trans woman. I just kind of wanted to like know like why that would be, I guess.
I mean, I cannot peer into the minds of others. I can only speculate. And I imagine that part of it is to buck the imposition of those labels, like for a trans woman to be constantly called male. So it's partially probably to like buck that imposition and to claim like, no, 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 I'm not male. You can't keep calling me that. Additionally, I think a lot of us feel that once we've been on hormones for a period of time, or once you've undergone certain surgeries, it's like functionally it does not make sense to continue calling that person by the sex that they were assigned. So, like, if taking the trans woman as the example, if she has been on hormones long enough to grow boobs, and if she's had bottom surgery and she doesn't grow a beard anymore or anything, then like it's like functionally, what is the point of using this label? It's really just hurtful and not even medically relevant because trans women's risk of all of these medical things closely matches cis women. Like trans women don't get prostate cancer, basically. So it's like any health issues that are pertaining to quote being male are not really present. So I mean that's kind of my position on it. What do you think, Jack?
I mean, I without additional context, I'm not entirely sure uh like what exactly is going on, but the two possibilities that immediately leap into my mind when I just see those terms isolated are either, you know, making fun of like transphobes and the labels that transphobes put onto trans people and just kind of, trying to own the label, make it less hurtful, or like turn it in a way
Reclaiming
that
it.
makes it, yeah, reclaiming it in a sense. And the other thing that
Okay.
I can think of is like potentially because they are in some degree like trans medicalist, which is a less charitable interpretation. But given like we've had a few calls today of people dealing with specifically transphobia within the trans community, it's a distinct possibility, and it without knowing additional context around the use of those terms and labels, it's hard to tell exactly how a person might mean it. But those are the two things that kind of leap to my mind.
Okay. Yeah, because like I'm like trans myself. I just haven't pre-transitioned still, unfortunately. So I don't know. It kind of feels like the word transsexual, I guess, to me, and like it always just yeah gives me
Yeah,
that
that would.
yucky feeling, I guess.
Yeah, which is kind of why I was like, there's the possibility that it's being used to be like, I like, oh, I got bottom surgery, so I'm a trans female now instead of a trans woman. Kind of like trying to like kind of adopt that trans medicalist language, but again, without knowing the context, I'm unsure if I'm being uncharitable in that reading of the term just by itself.
Also, like, I think that
Yeah.
the terms male and female are identity terms.
Mhm.
Like, somebody could be born with an intersex condition, but they might identify more one way or the other. And also, when you change your legal gender marker, I say gender marker, but the options are F and M, and they don't stand for femme and masc. It stands for female and male. So, like, I think that there
Mhm.
is an aspect of that as well, where like those terms, while they are sort of descriptive of biological markers or biological indications, it's not like that's the end of the conversation, because people clearly do identify with those terms in the same way that they identify with terms that we think of as explicitly referring to gender identity. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to not acknowledge that aspect of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. And like, it's not like I'm gonna like go be an asshole to them or something. Like,
yeah, of course.
I don't know. I just wanted to like get your guys' opinion, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
Did you have any other thoughts you wanted to add on that? Or any other additional clarifying questions?
I think that was all.
Cool. All right. Well,
all right.
It's always nice to keep it brief, keeping it rolling, keeping it moving. So thank you so much, Ashton.
Yeah,
we appreciate you. And I'm glad that we were able to kind of provide some clarity on this topic for you. And hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Thanks. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
That was a call. Remember to leave a comment longer than 8 words, really helps with the algorithm, and subscribe. And also check out the live show every Thursday. Links all down below. And let's keep on going.
Riverboat deck is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and switching streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.